I think the other cool thing that I'm realizing this morning is we started off in Washington, D.C. We went to Las Vegas. We went to Michael in Toronto, and now we are jumping across the Atlantic to Amsterdam, where we have Stefan and Wiebe, who are joining us from ABN AMRO. I know they're on the channel now, so I'm gonna bring them live. You guys can unmute there, and Michael, you can log off whenever you want.
All right, thanks, Derek.
Thank you, Michael. Stefan and Wiebe, if we can bring you up live on camera so that you guys can turn your camera on, we will be able to start your session. We can see you, so hi to both of you, live from Amsterdam. I was just in Amsterdam about 2 weeks ago, visiting Stefan and his team there in their offices. We also had the DevSecOps Leadership Forum in Amsterdam there, which is awesome. We had a really good community group there, very conversational and interactive. So there's there's many organizations that are on their DevSecOps journey in Amsterdam, and looking forward to hearing more about one particular company, ABN AMRO, and how DevSecOps works in a large bank with lots of history. There is bureaucracy that any organization has to work through, but I think how they're merging security and development or DevOps practices there is important. So Stefan, can we hear you?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, quick sound check, it works. So
I will share my screen now.
Yep, you can share your screen. And I know that they're both live on Slack for the Q&A, where they'll be after the session goes live. So I can see your screen now, and I can see your slides. So if you want to go into the slide view or the presentation mode.
Hello, can you hear me, Derek?
Yep, I can hear you.
Can you see the slideshow?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Good. Now, Derek, thank you for the introduction.
Do you want to go into presentation mode for your slides so we can see the full screen?
Maybe we need to have this. It's the full screen version, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this should be it.
Yeah, I am seeing myself right now. So I see your slides.
And now you should see it full screen, right?
Yes, perfect.
Okay.
Okay, Derek, thank you for the introduction. We are Stefan Simenon and Wiebe de Roos. We're located in Amsterdam. We are working for ABN AMRO Bank. ABN AMRO Bank is the third largest Dutch bank. And we would like to share our CI/CD journey, how we implemented security in the journey. And we are looking forward to your question. I'm heading the CV software development and tooling department within ABN AMRO. Wiebe de Roos is part of my team, and he is a specialist on CI/CD, on containers and security. And within ABN AMRO, we have set up a CI/CD program 4 years ago. Before the CI/CD program set up, we used to have a waterfall organization, and we were slow. We found issues at a late stage, and it took lots of time to implement software. We have transformed into an agile organization. Currently, we have about 300 to 350 agile teams working within ABN AMRO, and the CSD journey, it's about tooling, but mostly about a change way of working and a cultural shift, so to say. So what we say, we know that's a difficult journey, which will take long. We know it's all about improving every day. We have lots of focus upon the way of working and the cultural mindset, but we're not going to discuss it in this presentation. In this presentation, we will show you the technical details, and we show you how we implemented security in our pipelines. So this is the tooling we have implemented within ABN AMRO. We're using Jira, Slack, Confluence for agent management. We use Jenkins for our CI administration. We're using Excel Release for our CD administration. And within CI, we have implemented all kinds of code quality tools and security tools in our pipelines. So we have different pipelines within ABN AMRO. For each and every technology, we have a standard pipeline. We have an inner sourcing model to check with our development community their wishes and their feedback. And based upon communities, based upon discussions with our development community, we continuously improve the pipelines. So our development community is actively participating in continuous improving the pipeline. And in this picture, you can see what pipelines we have. Now we are already busy 3 to 4 years with CI/CD. We have already good benefits realized, but there is still more to do. But here I have some examples. In the past, we only did 4 mobile releases per year, and now we do it every 2 weeks, and we're moving to 2 days on a short term. And there is a team which reduced their build from 5 hours to 5 minutes. We already see teams who do continuous deployment, doing automated production deployment right from a commit. And because of the usage of Excel Release, we also see teams improving their release timelines. But the question is, what did we do about our security? So we're going to elaborate about 3 topics: secure coding, open source libraries. We have a hybrid cloud strategy, and part of this strategy is also securing our containers, and we have a way forward about credentials management. So what you see in open sources, you see that open source is more and more used within the bank, not only within the bank, but also across the world. You see that open source is a very powerful methodology to use, but what you also see, if you do not use the right open source libraries, if your libraries get outdated, open source might become vulnerable. And what you also see is that the hackers, they are getting more fast to hack systems. So you see an increased threat of being hacked. We all know the Equifax case, of course, but lately we see more cases like India Post, like Japanese Post. We read the blogs of Derek of Sonatype. So what we say within the bank, we need to be secure, we need to be reliable, and securing our software is a key focus for us. So what did we do within the pipelines? We have implemented the code quality and the secure coding tools. We use Fortify for secure coding. We use Nexus Lifecycle for scanning our dependencies. And if a developer is delivering unsecure software, or if a developer is implementing open source libraries which are not secure, then Jenkins will block the build, and the developer isn't forced to fix the issues before being able to continue. In the past, we did lots of secure coding awareness. We did lots of training. We taught. We had discussions with the development community, fix secure coding issues once you see them. We also have provided the IDE plugins, so the developers can already check in the IDE the security. But what we saw is that only limited people were fixing their issues, although they got warning, although they got the feedback. But after we implemented the build breakers, you saw lots of decrease of vulnerabilities. We also have ensured senior management commitment. We discussed it with our security people, also with the senior management of our departments. Because in the beginning there were some escalations and business functionality could not be delivered on time because of the security issues. But now we see that there is much more commitment, there is much more awareness and much more understanding. So my advice is use the tools the right way and also implement quality gates and bill breakers to enforce the development community to fix issues where they are. So, but with this, we only can fix the issues for programs which are changed or for new programs. But within ABN, we also have lots of legacy programs which are not getting changed. And these programs, we also see some issues. So we are defining now all kind of management dashboarding to make the departments aware of the issues. And we are defining a governance. That the management dashboards they need to be discussed in the management forum, and we will check the progress of the fixing of the issues. And once we see areas in which there is insufficient progress, the senior management can step in where required. We did security training. It was already a while ago. We need to redo it. And what we also do is that in the past, we did have SLAs with our ADM suppliers. We punished them if they did not meet the SLAs. We stopped that. Instead of punishing the people, we allow the teams to make failures. We allow them to improve. And the teams which improve a lot, or the teams which share their successes and their failures, we also will reward these teams. So, as I said, the second topic is hybrid cloud. Within ABN, we have a hybrid cloud strategy. We have an on-premise system, which is an IBM system. We saw that there's an improvement compared to the old situation, but we also see that not all public cloud facilities are in there. We also see that the developers they want to work with the latest technology. So we said with an ABN, we're moving to a hybrid cloud situation, and next to the IBM platform, Microsoft Azure and AWS have been made available. There is already applications running upon these platforms, 30 to 40. We already see the benefits, but next year we would like to accelerate a lot. We would like to bring more and more applications to public cloud. And in order to do this, we need to do some more preparation. We need to strengthen our governance, our architecture. We need to keep on improving the security. We need to check what kind of skills are required across the development community and across other communities. And we need to make sure that we acquire and retain the right skills. And I will be leading a cloud native stream. And this cloud native stream is all about designing and developing applications in such a way that we take the full advantage of public cloud. So we will define architectures for microservices or decomposed applications. And we're going to define standard guidelines for serverless development. And we would like to make sure that developers, they are focusing on development only. So we would like to offer a platform as a service. Next to this, we also would like to increase the way of working by containers, by Kubernetes, by Docker. And one important part of this, how are you going to secure your containers? How are you going to monitor the security of the containers? And Wiebe is going to tell more about this.
All right, thank you, Stephen. So if I take over from here about Docker security or containers and security, it closely follows the same life cycle as it is for a Java application, for example, or any other application. So we have thought of security for the coding cycle, the coding phase, the build phase, the shipping phase, and the running phase, because we think security should be in all of these phases within the life cycle. So that their security is needed in every step of the life cycle. So if we then draw a picture or setting the context of all the security aspects here, we can identify from bottom to top. First, we need to secure the Docker engine, because if the Docker engine is not secure, that's like the core system on which the Docker containers are running. So we're now currently looking at Docker Enterprise Edition to see how we can secure the Docker engine all across all the systems at the bank. Then we have containers running that can be on Kubernetes, on Mesos Marathon, Docker Swarm, or even just plain Docker containers, or maybe later on EKS or Amazon or Azure Container Services. And we're doing some proof of concepts here with commercial vendors like Twistlog, Aquasec, and SysDig. Always make sure to always have monitoring in place, logging in place. That's like what the commercial vendors are doing. In the meantime, we are scanning images while they are being built. So we have created a Docker image pipeline. I will come to that about a little bit later. That creates Docker images in a standard way. And we put a lot of security tools already in the pipeline, the open source tools. For example, we are using Claire, we're using Linus, we have Nexus Lifecycle, Nexus IQ. That's in fact a commercial tool, but we already have that in place for other software components, and we extended that to also scan Docker images while they are being created. We also implemented Anchor. That's like a bit of the same, and we're now comparing the different open source solutions to see similarities and to define policies based on security findings. Next to that, on top of that, we should provide a way to sign images. So if we build images, it's like we will sign them to make them ABN AMRO approved, and then once they are approved, they can be pushed to Bitbucket or to Nexus or another repository, so that other teams can safely use it. The same goes for Docker secrets. There's another slide on that. And on a very high level, we should, just like other tools, we should check the code. That means we should check the Docker image file on a code level, and we use ADO lint for that. And if one of these phases, if it breaks in the pipeline, then you cannot continue with the next phase. So why all this effort? The main reason is preventing container outbreaks, preventing bad quality, preventing systems at risk. So we see a broken container here. That's something we'd like to avoid. So as I said, we have a Docker image pipeline, and that Docker image pipeline basically runs on Jenkins. We have Jenkins Enterprise being implemented on AWS in the public cloud. That Jenkins Enterprise is also based on containers. So it's like containers everywhere. Basically, if a developer wants to create a new Docker image for his or her pipeline or his application, there will be a push from Bitbucket, from within Jenkins. It will trigger a Bitbucket, getting all the sources. We're building that Docker image, and then all the security steps from the previous slides will start to run. So first we check the syntax with Docker lint. Then we do a dependencies check. We're getting a report from Anchor. We're getting a report from Nexus Lifecycle. We're doing a configuration check of the containers about naming conventions, best practices. That's how we want it in the bank to act as a standard. We're applying some security profiles if needed. We're doing a very simple smoke test, starting up a container. For example, if we want to have a container with a Maven, there should be output like Maven and a specific version. If that doesn't come back as a return value, then it's invalid, and then your whole pipeline breaks. And then you see it here, you should go back and fix that. But once everything is successful, we're signing the Docker image, and we're publishing it in a trusted registry. So then it's ready to be used by other development teams. So that's basically about containers and security. Next topic that hooks up with this is about credential management. It's like all the processes and technologies about secrets, passwords, API keys, and certificates, how we are going to work with that, how that's being structured, what are the processes about, and what are the best practices to work with all of that. And it also applies to the Docker containers here. So if we take a look at the history about credentials management, on the top left, you see credentials are being stored in the code. It's in plain text there. It's in a configuration file or an environment variable, and it's very much decentralized. We're now heading towards a solution in which we opt for a centralized management of credentials. So in the first phases, we have it, for example, being put in Bitbucket, maybe in a secure file. But we're now heading towards the implementation. We're doing some POCs with HashiCorp Vault, Keyfold, CyberArk, and that's like the way forward also to work with Docker and security and Docker and containers in here. So if we hook up, why are we doing all this? It's like there are so many use cases already on the internet about risks. So we have seen breaches in the past about Vine. There's a hacker that hacks a Docker registry. Well, we don't want that because there's also stuff inside that can be read relatively easily once it is being compromised. Or in Uber, there's also a public registry that's being hacked, and that's a very secret key that was being stolen because it reveals so much information about drivers of Uber cars. And there's another case from Ashley Madison that, well, developers, they are storing their credentials in the source code and also putting keys in there. We would like to avoid all of that because that's putting the bank at risk. So basically, we have secrets now in source code. Secrets are being used in orchestration levels like Jenkins, Bamboo, Circle CI. And we have secrets on deployment phase, for example, Azure, AWS, or Rackspace, whatever. So basically, we have keys, keys, keys. We have secrets, and those secrets are everywhere. So that's why it is very important to have a centralized solution that every developer and every department can use. That's very important because now almost everyone said, according to a survey by CyberArk, said, well, 99% don't know of the people that responded, they don't know where the secrets really are. So if you don't know where all the secrets are, then you're at risk exposing secrets while you even don't know where it is being exposed. So the focus areas about credentials management here is we're doing some stuff about key rolling. We're trying to provide granular access permissions for all the tools and all the applications to find a generic way of setting those permissions. We have a secure storage. We want to have audit logs. We want to have monitoring also for Docker containers here in place. It's a very big topic right now. It should really fit into the DevOps environment. So that means we're talking about DevSecOps here. And of course, with containerization, it's even more important to have it all in a very good place, all in a centralized place, especially because containers are, well, disposable once the container dies or crashes or it's getting disposed because it's not needed anymore. That's the, well, key value of a container. You still want to know if something bad happens during the life cycle, during the lifetime of that container. Well, that's it for now. Thank you.